Okay, what's going on, everybody? So obviously I didn't make one after Saturday's fights because I was literally watching them from, what was it, 4 to like 10 o'clock at night. But I want to come at you guys with a Gamrot versus Tsarukyan episode. And then also my light and my camera is literally being held up by like duct tape right now because I set them down the other day and it like broke. So if it periodically slants down over the course of this video, that is why. But that's besides the point, okay? Because I want to make an episode talking about Tsarukyan versus Gamrot card because the card overall, what I say, it's like extending the streak of these phenomenal fights, and we're moving into UFC 276 and then moving into RDA versus Fiziev, which is absolutely wild. But Gamrot versus Tsarukyan, dude, what I tell you, dude, this card did not disappoint, nor did this fight disappoint. And I want to make this episode because there's a few hot takes that I wanted to kind of bring up, and I just realized notes are on the phone, but I got them right here. Okay, let's go. But just like going through the fight card as a whole, like the whole entire prelims, absolute money. It's becoming a reoccurring theme. But dude, as we have to stay on topic of the lightweights, because there were some interesting things that happened during the main card, like judging wise, and we'll get to that. But I think that the first hot topic that I have to talk about is the fact that our boy Thiago Moises, who's another lightweight who's going to be a perennial top 15 lightweight challenger, like lightweight contender, he's back, baby. And I'm so happy for him because at the beginning of this last year, I was talking about how he lost his fight to Joel Alvarez, okay? But before that, he took that short fight. He took the short notice against Islam Makhachev, and arguably did as well as anybody has in recent memory against Islam Makhachev. You know what I mean? Drew Dober did really well, but like Thiago Moises, he did fantastic. I didn't even think he got close to a takedown, but against Islam. But yeah, dude, I'm just so happy he got back and got that submission victory over Christos Thiagos. Thiagos is an absolute stud, but Thiago, I just was pumped for him and so nervous for him because he's going to be a staple, and he's so young and has so much room for improvement, but is already so good. So I was just super happy to see him back, and who knows, it's only like 1 or 2 fights. Maybe I'm recording this on Monday, so like I don't know what he won't be ranked obviously, but he has been ranked in the past. So maybe like 1 or 2 more fights and he'll be in the top 15, and then hopefully he just keeps working his way up because, dude, he's so young, and he's going to be a very familiar face in the UFC lightweight division for sure. But I was just overall super happy to see him back. Just so well-rounded, dude. His boxing is so clean, and the way he can just get his body triangle around you and get to your back without even having to take you down, his jiu-jitsu is just absolutely insane, and he just seems like an incredibly nice dude. So super pumped for Thiago. That was my first thing that I realized. And then the next one, obviously, Umar Nurmagomedov, dude. This guy is an absolute killer. It was hilarious watching after the fact where it was like he was standing in the background listening to Umar talking. Umar's like, I could fight for the belt next week or whatever, and it was kind of funny. But nobody in the UFC Apex is doubting that he could take on anybody, because my dad was getting kind of used like, oh dude, he's just another Nurmagomedov, we're just gonna lay on you. But if you watch his UFC debut against Sergey Morzov, man has absolute phenomenal striking, can put your lights out, and we saw him in the third round with that little front push kick to the face against Nate Mayhem Maness. Nate Maness is an absolute killer, and Umar made light work of him, which is just goes to show how good he is. But yeah, I was going into that thinking Nate could surprise somebody on the feet, especially because he has such good boxing. But Umar knew what he was doing. He was took the fight down to the ground and did his thing. But even on the feet, he was not outmatched, obviously. Like he could have taken that fight anywhere he wanted to and thrived. So yeah, and then Chris Curtis obviously is an absolute beast mode. Rodolfo Vieira's boxing looks so much better. Carlos Ulberg showed up for his mates. It would be sick. Dude, could you imagine getting him on the card? That'd be absolutely insane next week because relatively untouched. But it's going to be fun for him to just kind of watch his guys and sit back and relax. Alan Paiva, Nurden Beckett. This whole entire Cody Durden, I was sad to see JP Bays lose. Mario Bautista is an absolute killer. But yeah, this whole entire fight card was absolutely insane. But let's get into one of the other hot topics because I want to keep this a relatively short video, okay? So, Shavkat Rakhmonov, okay? I saw, because like I feel like a lot of people have been talking about him more recently, and rightfully so, because I think he was talking about in his fighter interviews like on last Wednesday or whatever, where He feels he deserves more recognition. He's not getting it yet, and he definitely is going to start getting it now. But I want to be one of the first guys. I feel like I have kind of talked about him for a while now when nobody else did. And I was talking to one of my friends, and they thought that Neil Magny was going to do pretty good. I feel like a lot of people didn't really completely understand how good Shavkat was, just because he hasn't fought like a big name guy like Neil Magny yet. Because it was a relatively big jump. Because who did he fight? He fought Cowboy, who's obviously one of the best one of the most exciting welterweights. And he fought Pajerish or whatever. And then he fought Carlson Harris in that last. And then he's finished all 16 of his fights. I can't even comprehend that. That's absolutely insane. But you can't rave about this dude enough. But what I want to say is, after Shavkat, because one does not simply maul Neil Magny like that for 2 rounds and sink in a guillotine. That guillotine's filthy too. Like, it doesn't even look like it's all the way in. Like, I feel like a lot of guys pull guillotine and stuff, and then it burns out. But when he pulls guillotine, it feels like the thing with Shavkat is, when he does something, he does it thinking that it's gonna freaking work. Shavkat's not gonna do something where it's like gonna put him in a compromised position later. You know what I mean? Even though he was running into those up kicks and stuff, but he was absolutely fearless going into those long Neil Magny up kicks. But dude, he didn't care. He was just passing the guard. Everything he does is so calculated. And like I said in last episode, nothing he does is telegraphed. Everything just happens like in the blink of an eye, where he might take you down. He might just decide to pin you up against the fence and get you in a clinch and then do a judo throw or something. But he also, in a blink of an eye, can just throw an absolute quick combo, or he'll just throw a spinning back kick to the body, spinning heel kick to the head. Yeah, people just don't know what's coming after him. And also, this is what I was going to say right now, is although it sounds absolutely ridiculous, okay, considering the killers at welterweight, and I'm not just doing this just to be... Well, this is a hot take for me, obviously, but I'm going to stand behind this, okay? Because, like I said in the last episode, is where Shavkat Rakhmonov, if you're going to thrive and be the top guy at welterweight, you have to have all the skill sets. And I believe Leon Edwards, he is a great striker, and he has great grappling. Like, the way he laid on top of and beat the crap out of Gunnar Nelson, and on the day that he got the 3-piece in the soda from Jorge Masvidal, that was absolutely insane. But, like, I really think that when it comes right down to it, Shavkat Rakhmonov, he is the biggest threat to Kamaru Usman. And I'm going to say that even he's a bigger threat than Khamzat Chimaev. And here's why, okay? Khamzat Chimaev, watching the guy shadowbox, you obviously know he's great on the feet. And he obviously, seeing the Gerald Meerschaert knockout just proves that. But the way that Shavkat Rakhmonov can grapple and strike, like, it's not just boxing or stand-up. It's like special high level spinning attacks, everything that you could possibly want. He is probably, besides the champ right now, most well-rounded fighter. And that's not to take anything from Colby Covington, Gilbert Burns, like Bilal Muhammad and stuff, but I really do think Shavkat has the best chance to beat Kamaru Usman. I'm going to stand by that, because when it comes to like Leon Edwards and stuff, we all think that Leon Edwards, I think he's going to do pretty relatively well against Kamaru, but it's like, who knows what's going to happen? Because I guarantee you, if Kamaru Usman touches you on the chin, it's not going to be like, I know it's really interesting to think about, because you think about it in 2 ways. It's like, well, did Leon leave an opening? But he also kind of did probably get a little bit bored fighting Nate, because he was just ahead the entire time. But I'm going to go on a limb here and say, if Kamaru connects on the chin, it's not going to be like a Nate Diaz punch. Like, Leon is going to go down, and it's probably going to be bad. So, yeah, if Leon just can't get like lackadaisical in there, because if he does, it's game over. But the thing watching Shavkat, he stays focused the entire time. There's nothing, he just wants to get in there, get his job done and everything. Because like, and also like, guys like Bilal Muhammad, guys like Vicente Luque, Gilbert Burns, they're all hella good on the feet everywhere. But I just really believe Shavkat is just that next level dude. And I know that everybody in the UFC is obviously well-rounded and stuff, but you can definitely say those guys lean heavier towards one aspect of mixed martial arts. Vicente Luque, more of a striker. Bilal Muhammad, more of a wrestler. Gilbert Burns, definitely more of a striker now, but he can get the job done on the ground. But we've already seen how that plays out against Kamaru, and same with Colby Covington. We see how that plays out. And Khamzat, I just don't see anybody beating Kamaru besides Shavkat Rakhmonov, just because there's no holes in his game. Not to say that there's holes in any of these other guys' game, but he's already ran through the division, the top guys, and he's exposed everybody except Khamzat, basically, and Bilal. But when we look at that, do we think Bilal Muhammad is going to beat Kamaru? Probably not. Do we think Khamzat Chimaev is going to beat Kamaru? Man, we don't freaking know. But if we were to match up Khamzat Chimaev and Shavkat Rakhmonov, I think that I'm going to probably take Rakhmonov, just because he's a little bit more dynamic on the feet, and he can hang with you, and he's gonna stuff he's gonna stuff the majority of your takedowns, and if you do take him down, he's gonna get back up to his feet. And we saw Khamzat kind of gassed out, because the thing with Shavkat, dude, he stays freaking locked in mentally. He stays locked in. He's not gonna try to get, because he knows in his heart of hearts that like he's going to get that finish, and he's going to search for it the entire time. He's not going to force anything. I feel like Khamzat forces stuff, and he, as we saw in the Gilbert Burns fight, he wants to get that crowd involved, and he wants to be a fan favorite. Shavkat, I feel like he just blocked all that shit out, and he's like, I know what I am, I know what I'm about, and I just, that finish is going to come. I don't need the validation of other people. Shavkat's just there for one sole purpose, and that's to get the belt. And I feel like a lot of these other guys somewhat are worried about like where they are in terms of their stardom. And Shavkat, everything is just taking care of itself, because he's just so freaking money at everything he does. So I really do think that Shavkat Rakhmonov, he is the man to take out Kamaru Usman. I sound crazy for that just because all the killers in that top 10. His call to Stephen Thompson was interesting to me. Stephen Thompson, that would be a really fun fight, but I just see Shavkat getting the dub over everybody he goes against. And a Khamzat versus Shavkat fight would be so much fun, but it's only a matter of time before we see Shavkat. I can't wait to see tomorrow where he jumps up in the rankings. But yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on Shavkat, dude. Okay, let's try to keep this sucker short. So next one. How are we feeling about that Mateusz Gamrot versus Arman Tsarukyan fight? I told you guys it would not disappoint, as I kind of mentioned, but I'm not gonna lie to you. I really do think Arman Tsarukyan won that fight, and I completely understand the people that think Gamer won, but it's just really tough for me, because I feel like something that's underrated is Arman Tsarukyan put Mateusz Gamrot in situations that Gamer didn't put. Arman put Gamer in more compromising situations, I feel like, than Gamer put Arman. Does that make sense? But I do understand the fact that Mateusz did take him down and stuff, but it's just tough for me to not give that fight to Arman. But you have to look at it like this, okay? Even though this is kind of in retrospect, this does remind me of the situation that we had earlier with Avloyev versus Topuria, where it's like, crap, why do we have these two guys fighting now? And this is, now that I'm thinking about it, it's like, this does suck because we don't want one guy to lose. Because I didn't want either guy to lose going into this. I was like, when Arman did something good, I was like, let's go. When Gamer did something good, I was like, let's freaking go, Gamer. Because Gamer was struggling early in the fight and stuff. So this is the way I think about it, though. Mateusz, 31. Get him closer to a title shot. He's legit one fight away from a title shot now, depending on who he fights. If he gets his call out against Justin Gaethje, that's phenomenal. Who knows who gets that dub, honestly. And that's just kind of how I'm processing it right now. Mateusz, it was so super cute. It was like watching him talk to his kids and stuff. He's been away from his family, and Arman's still 25. He has his whole future ahead of him, and Mateusz Gamrot's time is now. So I'm happy for Mateusz. Do I think that Mateusz is better than Arman? Not really. Do I think that they're razor thin close? Yes, but I do think Arman's better. And just imagine Arman in 6 years from now, dude. That guy's crazy. But the highlight for me was, dude, the freaking scrambles were sick, dude. Like, the fact that these guys were shooting on each other is just mind-boggling to me. And you saw it in the very first exchange on the ground. It was just a whole platter of awesomeness. But like when Gamer, when he shot, it's just a scramble, baby. Like, they were going, it was just wild, and they were swanging on the feet. And Arman's kicks, I forgot to mention his kicks. His kicks are absolutely brutal, dude. And the fact that he can sling those those meaty legs and onto Mateusz's midsection. Mateusz didn't flinch one time. It's just crazy. It just goes to show how tough Mateusz is. But yeah, pump for Mateusz, pump for Gamer. Get him any fight he wants. No one signs up to fight Arman Tsarukyan, okay? And when you do something like that for the UFC, when you give them a favor, because I guarantee not a lot of people are lining up to fight Arman, give Mataj anything he wants. And in terms of what you do for Arman, okay, I was sad, but I'm just thinking, dude, he's not that far off. One more big fight, and it just happens to be like, I've read articles and stuff, but I thought of it on my own, is Jalen Turner's on an absolute surge. Brad Riddell's one of the most exciting guys in the UFC to watch, and let alone lightweight division. One of the best strikers. Just give Arman that, dude. That's absolute money. Like, I don't know what's gonna happen. I feel like Arman's a nightmare for both of those guys. But at some point, if either of those guys win this upcoming fight, at some point you're just gonna have to test yourself against a guy like Arman, because when you have to fight a guy like Arman, Arman is what being a champion is all about. So if you at some point you just got to go after a guy like that, you know what I mean? So it'll be a good test for Arman, but it'll be a bigger test for us to fight him next. So yeah, dude, that's that. Yeah, baby. There was a few fights that got announced. So besides that, I give this card an all-out A. It's going to just carry into UFC 276 and Rafael Fiziev versus RDA. But there was a couple fights that I want to talk about that were absolutely sick. We got RoboCop versus Chidi and Njokuani. I cannot wait for this fight. RoboCop and Njokuani, they came out relatively unscathed in their last fights, which is absolutely sick, because Chidi has 2 fast knockdowns, and then RoboCop, I forget how many fights. Who did he fight? He fought Julian Marquez his last time out, obviously. But I'm just really looking forward to this, because both these guys are power punchers. Both come forward, both clash, and the clinch is going to be wild. I don't even know who's going to win this fight, but RoboCop versus Chidi, this is money matchmaking, okay? So it's pumped to see that one. And then another one that stuck out to me was Michael Johnson versus Jamie Mullarkey. When this got announced, I was like, this is sick, because both of these guys have sick boxing, both good ground games. Obviously, Michael Johnson's a great wrestler, so it's going to be super fun. And Michael Johnson is super impressive against Alan Patrick. I mean, his hands are just lightning quick. And then Jamie Mullarkey, even though it was a quick fight against, I think he got knocked out in like the second round against Jalen Turner. He was still finding the target with relative ease against Jalen Turner, and Jalen Turner obviously is going to be fighting Brad Riddell, and Jalen Turner with a win over Brad Riddell is going to be one of the biggest problems in the lightweight division. So I was looking forward to that. Both of those guys, this is going to be a smoke show on the feet. And then Chidi and Njokuani versus RoboCop, that's going to be fireworks, baby. But I really do think that kind of wraps it up. I was going to talk a little bit about some of the stuff. Oh, I know what I wanted to talk about. The news on this is probably I'm dropping this episode most likely today and stuff, but I wanted to talk. This is the last thing. Let me go to the card really fast. So UFC 276, I was watching the fights or whatever, and I was confused because they were leaving off the Miesha Tate versus Lauren Murphy card or fight. They were leaving that off the card. I was like, why is that? So I was going through, and they're probably going to announce this because they just said today that it's canceled. And then they're rescheduled it for like July 16th. I was going through, I was like, what one can you put on there? And I feel like there's no wrong way to go. The obvious one is like put Brad Riddell on there versus Jalen Turner. And I feel like if you put that on there, that just makes the card one of the best cards of the freaking year. But I feel like you got to give that little taste. You know, you have to give those people a little taste to buy the pay-per-view. And Brad Riddell versus Jalen Turner, any fight on the prelim card, if anyone's going to do that, if any fight is going to make someone want to buy the pay-per-view, it's going to be that one. So do not touch that sucker. But you got Ian Gary versus Gabe Green. Absolute killer. Gabe Green's a beast, and Ian Gary's obviously a rising star. Then you have Brad Tavares, Rodrigues Duplessis, that's low-key, that's going to be a scrap for me. Brad Tavares, he's kind of had bad luck with his last few fights because after he beat Umar Akhmedov, he had that sick fight against Brendan Allen, which I was pumped about because I'm thinking that Brad Tavares, he ain't done yet. I think that he's still got a little bit of juice in the tank, and the middleweight division's wide open, baby. That's why I'm pumped for that Gregory Rodrigues versus Chidi and Njokuani fight, because it's only a matter of time, because it's like Sean Strickland's going to be fighting on this card. Andre Muniz is going to be fighting on this card. There's a lot of open spots at middleweight, baby, that Israel Adesanya is looking for new blood. Or Jared Cannonier, dude. not pay attention to Tsarukyan and you're here, because it seems like every single time I overlook somebody on a preview or like pick'em episode, they ended up freaking winning or something. So, because I overlooked Aljamain versus Piotr, and I overlooked Juliana versus, and if Juliana can beat Amanda Nunes, anything's freaking possible. But yeah, I cannot wait to talk about these fights. Anyways, I think the main one that you got to do, Prajavaris, Rodrigues, Duplessis, that's fire. I think that you have to put Uriah Hall versus Andre Muniz on here. Just because Andre Muniz is another middleweight guy that's an absolute killer. And Uriah Hall is obviously, you never know what can happen on the feet with him. But I think that you just got to make this the card of the middleweights. You got to have Sean Strickland versus Alex Pereira. And then you have the main event, obviously. And then you put Andre Muniz on here. You just have to show this to represent the new blood that's going to come into the UFC middleweight division. Because it seems like Izzy's like cleared out some of the best guys. So it's like, new guys, baby, let's go. And Andre Muniz, he's probably, in my opinion, one of the scariest dudes in the middleweight division, just because he can take anybody down and he'll break every limb off your body if you give him the even if you don't give him the opportunity, he'll still find a way. So yeah, I love Andre Muniz. The way he just ran through Eric Anders, dude, and Jacare was absolutely insane. But I think that's the fight you got to put on there. You got to leave Brad Riddell versus Jalen Turner alone. I mean, no one's going to be mad if you put Robbie Lawler versus Brian Barberena on there. No one's going to be mad if you put Donald Cerrone and Jim Miller. But I think the one you got to do is Uriah Hall, Andre Muniz. Just make this the card of the middleweights, you know? But yeah, I think that's it. I had another thing I was going to talk about, but I'm just going to save that for next episode. I think I'm going to start doing this where I kind of split it up, where it's like instead of one long one once a week, I'm just going to do like 2 shorties, you know? So thank you guys for listening, and subscribe if you want to. I'm not gonna force you, you know, because I don't even deserve a subscription for you guys, because I'm so freaking inconsistent with the posting. But yeah, I can't wait for UFC 276 Maxi, baby. Let's see if he can keep it under 3 rounds like he says. But I'm pumped, and we'll be back at you with another episode soon. Thank you guys so much. This is my little Gamrot versus Tsarukyan recap. Happy for both of them, you know. I love both of those guys. So later, guys. Thank you.